Some of those are external, but the majority are on campus, and the majority are outside of the athletic department. These committees were appointed by the chancellor, and you should note also that they're not just working up until the time we have football. They will continue to stay intact. The committee chairs are all just grimacing a little bit up here, but they agreed to that on the front end, as well as when we get into football, because I'm sure there'll still be issues after the start of football that we will need to address. I'm going to ask each committee chair to stand, and as I call their name: Academic Affairs Committee, Dr. Cindy Wolf Johnson; Student Affairs, Dr. Michelle Howard; Game Logistics, Kim Whitestone. Where's Kim? Back in the back. Okay. Medical, Sports Medicine, Dr. Robert Jones; Business Affairs, Keith Wassam; External Affairs, Beth Fisher; and Facility Management and Capital, Phil Jones and myself are co-chairing that committee. I can't thank them enough for the work that they have done with their leadership already, in addition to the folks that are serving on those committees. Really, the campus feedback that we are gathering, we're using the following methods to gather that feedback. We have committees that have met with a number of student groups so far, and Student Government Association, the Student Senate of SGA, Graduate and Professional Development, and we will continue to reach out to other student groups as issues arise during this. We have a student ticketing committee, and it's just getting started. And actually, John George, our ticket manager, is one that is dealing with that right now with that group. And they've already had one meeting. If you are interested in serving on that committee and would like to give some input, all you have to do is send an email to niner@uncc.edu. And we welcome any and everyone to serve on that committee. We have a survey that we're using. Student Voice is being assembled to gather student feedback on many issues that will surround football. Ted Elling in the Office of Student Affairs is working on that tool for us. And then again, as I stated earlier, we will have additional town hall meetings and forums. And again, those will be held just when we kind of think there's a need to do that. The next slide is probably what most of you are very interested in, and that is a coaching search update. I'll dance around that about as much as I've danced around it everywhere else. I have no names to give you today, and I will give you a little bit of the timeline on that. We are narrowing the list of candidates. We're doing due diligence. I will tell you there has been tremendous interest in this position, and I think that's a compliment to the university. It's a compliment to the city and to the region. People realize the strength of this university and what it has to offer, and there's so many people that want to get in on the ground level of starting something big and being able to build a program. They take a lot of pride in that. So that makes my job a little easier, mine and the chancellor's, as we go through this, but very exciting. We hope to have a coach in place by April 1. The chancellor nor I, neither one, need to continue being the face of the program in this community. It will become extremely real to everybody once we have that press conference to name and announce who the new coach is going to be. So that's an exciting milestone for us, and hopefully it'll come sooner than later. In regard to private financial support, an update on that. In regard to FSL sales, we have sold 3,357 to date. That equates to about $4.15 million. And the breakdown in that, we've sold 2,843 green and 514 gold. Capital gifts, we've had 17 donors to date to give for approximately $1.82 million. We do have proposals out to various entities in the community and further for naming opportunities. We will name the stadium, we will name the football field, and we will name the field house. And there'll be other smaller areas, so you too could have your name on that. If you would like additional information about that and what it takes to get there, we would be more than welcome to share that with you. And what a great opportunity to get in on the ground floor of that. Have your name up there. The next slide is about our football game scheduling. and you're going to see on the right-hand side, we have one more game to schedule in 2013, and then this schedule will be almost complete. And remember, we are not in a conference at this point, and we have to crawl before we walk. We are looking at conference affiliation. It is very difficult to schedule, do a complete schedule without being a member of a conference. You can get the first few games scheduled fairly easily, but when other conferences get into their conference play, it is difficult to do it. So I am very pleased. Darren Spees from our office has worked very hard on the scheduling piece of this for the first 2 years, because schedules are done 4 and 5 years in advance, and we didn't have 4 or 5 years once we got approval to start football. We're having dialogue with several conferences right now. The Big South, the Southern, the Colonial Athletic Conference. Our intent certainly is to remain a member of the Atlantic 10 Conference in all of our sports and to have an associate membership for football. And so we have some meetings coming up with folks, and we'll continue to have dialogue on that. One big announcement, one thing before the big one. We are playing afternoon games. In our budget, we do not have the money for lights to be put in at this point. We are, however, doing all the wiring for that, and it is an ad alternate in the bid process, and should the bids come in at a good place, maybe we'll be able to add lighting sooner than later. And if you're wondering how much it costs to add lights, it's in excess of $800,000. I think I'm pretty close on that, am I not? On that one. And probably the big news, people want to know, when are we going to play somebody that we recognize as a big opponent? And I have to tell you, it is by design that we are not playing one in the first 2 years. Remember, we're going to bring in redshirt freshman student athletes in 2012. We'll bring back in the second class freshman student athletes in 2013, and that's when we play our first ball game. We do not want to put our freshman and redshirt student athletes up against seniors and fifth-year football players from other institutions. So we have held off intentionally not playing one of the big games. We do intend to begin scheduling some or one at least in the year 2015, but the one we have to announce today, and you will be excited about this one, is in 2019. We're going to be ready by then, okay? We will be playing the Hokies from Virginia Tech in the fall of 2019. August the 31st of 2019. So you better get your FSLs now, because there won't be any left, okay?